Today on the channel, we present the top 5 longest-running cars that, despite their age, are still in production and available brand new. These vehicles have barely changed over the decades, but remain in demand. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe. It's easy for you, but it really helps the channel grow. Now, let's get started. The original Peugeot 405 debuted in 1987 and remained in production in Europe until 1996. However, its story took a very different turn in the Middle East. In December 1988, Iran Khodro, an Iranian automaker, signed an agreement with PSA to begin large-scale assembly of the Peugeot 405. By 1990, the model was being built in Iran with a 1.4-liter carbureted engine, designed for the local market. This version remained in production throughout the 1990s, until it was replaced in 2002 by a facelifted model known as Peugeot Pars, marketed in Iran as Peugeot Persia. Although the Peugeot Pars was structurally the same Peugeot 405, its front and rear styling was updated to resemble the Peugeot 406. Over time, the model was upgraded with airbags, ABS, and even a USB port, in an effort to keep up with modern competitors. Peugeot Pars was available in several versions. Base model, 1.8-liter 8-valve engine, 101 horsepower, from the facelifted Peugeot 405. ELX version, 1.8-liter 16-valve engine, 112 horsepower, from the Peugeot 406. Sportier version, 1.6-liter 16-valve engine, 110 horsepower, from the Peugeot 406. In 2006, Iran Khodro introduced the Peugeot ROA, a rear-wheel drive version of the Peugeot 405, which was a unique departure from all other variants. This model borrowed its engine and suspension from the Iranian Paykan, making it a one-of-a-kind edition of the Peugeot 405. Despite Iran Khodro's break in relations with PSA between 2012 and 2016, Peugeot Pars remained in production in Iran until mid-2020. During this time, the model secured a strong presence in the Middle Eastern market and was even exported to Nigeria and Turkmenistan. In 2018, Iran Khodro sold Azerbaijani automaker Azermash the license and production equipment to manufacture the Peugeot Pars in Azerbaijan. By February 2019, the Neftchala auto plant began assembling the car under the name Peugeot Khazar 406, using parts imported from Iran. Despite its outdated design, the car quickly became hugely popular in Azerbaijan, with 77,000 units sold in 2020 alone. The Toyota Land Cruiser lineup is famous for legendary reliability, but the Land Cruiser 70, introduced in 1984, has become the ultimate off-road icon. Amazingly, this model is still in production today, barely changing in 40 years. Unlike modern Land Cruiser 300 or Prado, the 70 series remains as rugged and utilitarian as ever. It features a body-on-frame design, solid axles, manual transmission, and minimal comfort features. This vehicle was not built for cities. It's designed for harsh environments, including mountains, deserts, and remote rural areas. Model evolution. In 1984, the Land Cruiser 70 replaced the 40 series, offering multiple body styles: 3-door, 5-door, pickup, and chassis cab for specialized vehicles. During the 1990s, minor updates were made, but the design and construction remained unchanged. In 2007, Toyota decided to continue production of the Land Cruiser 70 for select markets, including Australia, Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America. Today, the Land Cruiser 70 is still widely used by military forces, police, humanitarian organizations, and farmers. This is one of the few cars you can still buy brand new in 2024, and it looks almost the same as in 1984. In recent years, Toyota has added new engine options, including a 4.5-liter V8 diesel and some modern features like airbags and ABS. But the classic Land Cruiser spirit remains untouched. This makes the Land Cruiser 71 of the longest-running production vehicles in history, still conquering the toughest terrains worldwide. One of the most iconic off-road vehicles in the world, Lada Niva, also known as VAZ 2121, Lada 4x4, and since 2021, Lada Niva Legend, has been in production for over 45 years with minimal changes. When the Niva debuted in 1977, it was revolutionary. Unlike traditional body-on-frame SUVs, it was the world's first mass-produced off-roader with a unibody construction and independent front suspension. This concept later inspired the creators of the Suzuki Vitara, and even the Toyota RAV4. Why has the Niva survived so long? Simple and reliable design, perfect for off-roading. Easy to repair. Spare parts are available almost anywhere. Compact size. Can go where larger SUVs cannot. Despite being nearly half a century old, the Lada Niva has changed very little. The design has remained nearly the same since the 70s, with only small updates. It still uses a 1.7-liter, 83 horsepower, engine, now adapted for modern regulations. In 2021, it was officially renamed Lada Niva Legend, but it's still the same car. Today, the Niva is still in production and exported to dozens of countries. It remains one of the most affordable and capable off-roaders, making it a true automotive legend. The Caterham 7 is one of the longest-running sports cars in history, virtually unchanged since its 1973 debut. But its story goes even further back. It is based on the legendary Lotus 7, which was produced from 1957 to 1972. When Lotus discontinued the 7 in 1972, the British company Caterham Cars acquired the rights and has been producing it ever since. Why has the Caterham 7 lasted so long? Iconic lightweight sports car, minimal weight, maximum driving pleasure, classic design, virtually unchanged since the 50s. Simple mechanical layout, perfect for track days and modifications. Available as a kit car. You can buy it in parts and assemble it yourself. The Caterham 7 is a pure driver's car. No electronics, minimal comfort, just raw performance. It remains one of the lightest cars in the world. The base version weighs just 500 kilograms, making for an incredible power-to-weight ratio. Modern Caterham 7 versions. Caterham 170, base model, weighs only 440 kilograms. Caterham 485, more powerful, 240 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.4 seconds. Caterham 620R, the most extreme version, 310 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 2.8 seconds. Despite its age, the Caterham 7 is still being produced and sold today. Unlike many other long-lasting models, it has stayed true to its roots as a pure old-school sports car. First place, UAZ 452 Bukhanka, in production since 1965. The UAZ 452, better known as the Bukhanka, is a true Soviet automotive icon that has remained virtually unchanged since its debut in 1965. Originally designed for military, medical, and rural use, it has become a legendary workhorse over the decades. This is what the UAZ looked like in the 1960s. And this is what it looks like today, in 2025. If you noticed a difference, congratulations. You're more observant than UAZ engineers. Why is the Bukhanka still in production? Simple and reliable design, rarely breaks, easy to fix. Unmatched off-road capability, goes where others get stuck. Minimal changes over 60 years, nearly identical body and interior. Still in demand in extreme conditions, used by the military, emergency services, and in the Arctic. What has changed in 60 years? In the 1970s, the engine was slightly upgraded, but it's still a 2.7-liter gas guzzler. In the 1990s, UAZ added a plastic dashboard and seatbelts, That was about it. In the 2010s, it got power steering and front disc brakes, but the handling remains tractor-like. In the 2020s, they finally added USB ports and heated seats, but the mechanics and design are still stuck in the 60s. Today, the Bukhanka is still being produced and sold, making it one of the longest-running vehicles in history. It perfectly demonstrates how a true off-roader doesn't need change, as long as people keep buying it. These were the top 5 longest-running cars still in production. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and see you in the next video. Yay!